Rovio, your friendly neighborhood quarter guy here, and, boy, what will Rovio do next with their little cash cow called Angry Birds? I just learned today that the next big Angry Birds game is called Angry Birds Epic. And it is, of all things, a turn-based RPG. Just when I thought Rovio would have learned their lesson with Angry Birds Go, they pull this. Apparently it's supposed to have a extensive crafting system which allows players to craft potions, armor, and weapons based on, from materials they earn in combat, or, of course, through in-app purchases. You see, I think I might have stated this before, but I don't hate mobile gaming in and of itself. What I hate is when some developers, hide much of their content behind timers, paywalls, and in-app purchases. I would rather sit through ads on free apps than have to deal with timers, and paywalls. Free-to-play doesn't have to mean pay-to-win. Some developers get that, and if by some odd chance you work for such a company, then I respect that. Then I will respect your company for that, because they don't because such developers wouldn't nickel and dime gamers to death. But it looks like once again Rovio is going down that path of the nickel and diming and the in-app purchases and whatnot. Sometimes I think Angry Birds has gone way too far. But who knows? Sorry about that. Moving on, I would like to thank those of you who saw my latest list, Top 10 Card Masters. I had a lot of fun making that list, and it was actually tough finding candidates because cards are really not a typical weapon in gaming. And in all honesty, they're not deadly in real life at all unless they're unless they're specifically designed to be a weapon. But I had a lot of fun making that list, especially some of the jokes. Anyways, I'm currently planning for my next countdown to be my first double top 5. Top 5 best and worst Bowser battles. Now, well, as a lot of you probably know, Bowser is one of the most famous villains in all of video games. But as all recurring villains go, he has his good moments and his bad moments, so I figured I'd look at both sides of the spectrum. I'm hoping to make that list for April. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would like to review another game. This time, a game that I hate. I won't say what it is. I'd rather cross that bridge when I come to it. Anyways, on to user questions. First question comes from Billy Danderson. He asks, what are your thoughts on Keiji Inafune's new game for 3DS, Azure Striker Gunvolt? I have to admit, that game looks friggin' awesome. I mean, to be honest, since it's developed by both Keiji Inafune and developed by Inti Creates, the people behind the Mega Man Zero series, as well as Mega Man 9 and 10, it should be no surprise that Azure Striker Gunvolt takes heavy inspiration from Mega Man Zero. The plot looks interesting, the gameplay looks solid, I like the character designs, and it definitely looks like a game I'm going to want to keep my eye on. Next question comes from Donatello643D. What is your opinion on the Star Wars prequel trilogy? It was okay. I'd say it was nowhere near the quality of the original trilogy. Episodes 1 and 2 were rather meh, It's been a long time since I actually saw those. Episode 3 was pretty dramatic. But overall, the original trilogy has the prequels beat by a mile. And at least the original trilogy didn't have Jar Jar Binks. Next question comes from Wilf, it is an Omega Snake. And of course he'd ask me about something like this. He asks, is there any MLP fan media you would suggest to non-bronies to watch or play since you are a non-brony yourself? Yeah, I've made this clear several times that I'm personally indifferent to the series. I've only seen a couple episodes. However, I did enjoy Mega Pony thoroughly, but mainly as a fan of the series that inspired it. That, of course, being Mega Man. I think I brought this up before. I don't remember which episode it was. You'd probably have to search back through the archives of my 25 cents worth for that. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Turnabout Storm. I was rather impressed by it. But, of course, if you're an anti-brony, nothing I say is going to convince you either way. I'm not the kind to be a hater just because it's the cool thing to do. If something's popular, one way or another, I'd rather know what all the fuss is about by experiencing it firsthand before I make an opinion of it. Which I wish more people would do instead of blindly hating because it's the cool thing to hate. If you have your own reasons, if you have legitimate reasons for disliking something, that's fine. Anyways, Ginkyofu13 on Tumblr asks, are you going to do the top 10 MadWorld boss battles? Probably not. I did have fun with MadWorld, but the top 10 MadWorld bosses, it's pretty much been done in the top 13. A couple times, in fact. But I have to say, the Shamans are not my least favorite boss. For me, it was actually Rin-Rin, because she blocked friggin' everything. I had more trouble with Rin-Rin than I did with the Shamans. True story. And maybe I'm just lucky, but I didn't have problems with the quick-time events on the Shamans at all, even though people alleged they were not working properly. Maybe I'm just lucky. Final question comes from Jonathan Kimmel, who asks, what kind of weather do you prefer, warm or cold? Having lived in both environments, I have to say, the cold never bothered me anyway.